Hey everybody, how are we today? Just thought I'd jump on. I was meant to do a broadcast last night, but my client that was in went over, so I didn't really have a lot of chance to jump on. It was just getting late, and again, I've been busy today with clients. I've had a singer in this afternoon, so yeah, just thought I'd jump on and say hello because I've missed yesterday, and obviously consistency is king. So I just thought I'd come on and answer any questions. So please say hello in the chat. And anybody who's looking to see about my Mixing for Louders course, we've been uploading videos, but the hard drive when I posted it for editing died, so I've had a bit of a nightmare. So it's re-uploading. Well, I'm going to be refilming tomorrow. More videos coming very soon. So yeah, I just thought I'd jump on. So if anyone's there, please say hello. Okay, and yeah, so like I said, I've not really planned for this. Just thought I'd better jump on because I missed last night. So let's have a look at this. So I've got this little project and I just thought I'd pull it up because I'd been working on it a while ago. I started it. It was just messing around. The idea was just getting some different bass sounds and making a bit of a wobbly bass line. Because my stepson is into his garage and I've been helping him and teaching him. And so I just loaded it up about half an hour ago. I thought I'd jump on with it. And yeah, let's have a listen to it. Okay, so the thing about this track is it's a tech house track and garage influence. It's only because I'm just messing around. But you know, a lot of the tech house is like this walking offbeat thing, so you can get it really loud, really easy. And a lot of the time, the kick is the loudest thing in the track. But when I listen to this, it kind of wasn't too much really, because of all the basses. The basses need to really take charge of everything. And yeah, I just thought I'd jump on and have a bit of a play and ask any questions. So if you've got any questions, please say hello in the chat. And I'm just going to try and get this like I'm mixing it. So just out of the box. So, and try and get it as loud as possible. So I've got this kick here, which is from a sample. And I had a different one. I've just changed it last minute. And because I want as much bass in it as possible because of the kind of track it is, I've taken a bit of bass out of the kick here. Also, I wanted the kick to be as loud as possible, so as you can hear there, I have clipped it. And I've just used my ears to clip it to see where I thought sounded good. Okay, so I've also, there's a reverb on that. Where's that coming from? Not from there, not from there, from there. I don't know where that's coming from. Hmm. Very weird. Okay. Okay, well, I'll have to look into that afterwards. Please say hello if you're watching. So what I've done is I've got it, and it was at full volume at 0, but it wasn't really loud enough. It was hitting the limiter on the master. It was clipping on the master. So I did a bit of shaping. I just took a bit of bottom end out of it, and then I've used a duck and just shaped it to how I thought sounded best. And then I've clipped it. Now let's have a listen to the clipper on and off. Push that a bit more. And what I'd do here, I could get this up. Have a listen to what it's doing. So isolation. Okay, here it's adding some saturation in there. Let's listen to that on and off again. And here. A little bit louder. Well, look at it, it's got quite a bit of distortion in the mid-range I'm listening to there. Might want to bring it back. Can't hear anything there. You've got to remember, I'm listening in the headphones, listening really kind of zooming into it, and I can't hear anything, any changes there. But all this will only matter what it sounds like in the mix. Sounds a bit brighter on the top. It doesn't seem to be affecting the transient. Let's go back down to the bottom end again. I mean, it's sorting there, but the point you've got to ask yourself is, do I like it? Do I not like it? Okay. And then listen to it in the mix. So yeah, that sounds really good. Let's have a look at what that's done to the volume of it. Minus 5.85. And actually, that distortion sounds kind of all right at the moment in time. It's kind of giving it a bit more definition in the mix. So I really like that. Okay, so then it's all about the bass line. So this is the bass line. So it's a combination of just the bit different basses to make up one bass line. Create a melody with all different sounds. So this is the main one, I think. Yeah, this one. Massive garage square. I've just turned down the volume of the sub of that a little bit. Must have needed it. And then, okay. Well, the tech house here has got a lot of mid-range in it nowadays, but obviously, this is more of a bass track. I don't have a lot in the mid-range besides the siren. That's not all the time. So I wanted the mid-range to really kind of cut through and be defined. And sometimes when you found samples like this that are really, you really like them, and you've not picked them for loudness, then you've got to go into them and try and get the best out of them. So I've gone into the bass, and again I've just added a bit of mid-range with the Spectre, some parallel saturation. Taking a bit of the bottom end out when I've been listening on the speakers. I have clipped it. Because on the master bus, the bass is what's really clipping the limiter. So if I go here, limiter up. When I look at it, we can see it's not the kick on its own that's really hitting that. It's the combination of the kick and that together. So if I take the bass out, it's literally tickling it. I've been messing around with the mix, and the clap's hitting it. So I want to be looking at the clap. So what I've done is just done the best that I can do with it. So again, I've just clipped it. Could have spent a bit more time finding better sounds. I could have clipped it a bit more. I don't need the transient as much on the clap because it's in the mix with everything else. And when I'm doing this with the claps, I'm just doing it so the master limiter isn't squashing too hard at that point. And like with the snare, where in the rhythm snare, I might want to make sure that I don't do it too much because I don't want to lose the transient. With the clap on the kick, I don't mind, and plus I like how it sounds, to be honest with you. So that's that. The reverb. And then OL2. In fact, what I'll do, I won't use FabFilter Pro 2 on the master. To show you, I'll use ozone. Listen to delta mode. Really, I don't want to be using that on the master, but what I'm doing is I'm using it to help me see what point seems to be clipping, because I like the levels of everything. It seems really good. What I'll do is I'll put in delta mode. Listen. So I can hear at that point there, when the limiter's hitting it, you can hear the kick coming at plus 5 dB, okay? So why is that good? It's good because whilst we're learning, we can listen to what distortion is being created, and because we've clipped the kick massively already, we know that this is now just hitting the kick first of all. But before, where we were looking at the L2 and we could see that it was working on the place where the kick and the bass were hitting together with the bass, we can hear the changes it's making, or we can hear the delta mode, the difference. And until we hit the kick, we don't really hear anything in there. So let's turn that on and off, and that helps us just to get tuned into it. In fact, I turn that kick down quite a bit now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here. It seems a bit loud. Look at the oscillator. So look at the oscilloscope. Give me a bit of an idea what's going on. And I can, just by looking at it, I can see the kick's a bit loud. So what I'll do is I'll turn it down. Oops, turn it down. And then what we can do is we can go back to this, to the ozone, and listen again. We've got that on some. We can see there's something going on the kick there, and that might be the reverse bass by the looks of it. Use your eyes a little bit. Have a listen to that in the mix. Just put the gain match on and then listen that on and off and see how if it's destroying the track at all. Take the game match off. You know, I can't hear anything that I'm not liking about this, and that's a good thing about using a delta. So we're already hitting into 7 LUFS, but what does that sound like compared to like a reference track or something like that? How are we doing? all I've done is clip the kick really, and I've added a limiter to the bass, but we'll go into that in a bit. So when we go to a tech house track, there's perceived to be louder. So one of the things about this that I always find is I don't worry about that. Okay. Now, and the reason why I don't worry about it is loudness is sometimes about what's perceived. So if I've got a mid-range synth about 2 to 4K, like their track, then quickly, let's see what this one is. Okay, well that seems louder than that. That's louder than one reference. What's this one? And it's not as loud as the fancy shit track, which is, I don't know what it is, actually I just downloaded it for a reference quickly. But I thought it sounded good, the mix. And that's because of what's in the track. So, if I wanted to add a mid-range synth, like it sounds like a serum synth, like they all do, with no bass in it, and I've got a kick, and I've got the offbeat bass and the bottom end. First of all, because the kick and the bass aren't playing at the same time, I'm going to be able to get it louder. And second of all, because I've not got loads of bass overpowering the kick, for the same reason, because I've got loads of bass going over, because I've got loads of bass going over the kick. I'm going to struggle with the bottom end a little bit more. So I have sidechained it, and I've EQ'd it. And the key thing here is because we haven't really got a lot of that 2 to 4K that really cuts through the mix. It's being perceived not to be louder. So, we've got the kick, we've got the clap, the top of the kick, we've got the clap, and they're the only things that are there, because when between those frequencies, the Fletcher-Munson curve, everything just seems to be louder. It appears to be louder, perceived. So it's not really just about the numbers. So what I'm doing is just trying to get the best out of this track. And like I said, I was just brought up and just found it. So I was showing my stepson a bit ago just about making a bass line out of different bass lines, and I thought, oh, I'll pick that up. Just had a quick listen to it. I thought I quite like it. So now I know what is, when I'm looking at it, when I'm looking at it, I need to look at the levels. You see the kick's still quite loud, and there's a reverse bass which is really loud, so I can look at that and I can work on that. So I'm going to look at that. I think it's the high swell, that. It is a bit loud, so I can turn that down. That looks okay. So the kick's the loudest thing, and then I'm going to look at it in sum. So you can see there's a couple of little things going over on the kick, and I'm not quite sure what they are. They're probably something to do with the bass, but what I've done with the bass is I've got what I would do is go to each one like I've done with that. Have a listen to that. Does that need that bottom end in it? Listen to it in the track. I like that there. So that's reduced it a little bit, and all I'll do is go through it without trying to destroy it and bring them levels down. What's going on, what's hitting the master. So I'm going to go back to the master. Go. So straight away, we were into the sevens, we're in the levels, but it's how it sounds to me. Like, what's important now is if I'm playing this in the club, how is it going to sound after them after the other tracks? I know it's not sounding badly distorted, so I think that sounds louder there. This is this other one. So again, like I said, we've got the mid-range. There's nothing more that I can do about this to make this track feel as loud as that track. It's a different track. It might be a different key, but this track is about what I'm trying to create as a vibe. So I'm quite happy with the level, but I might just try and think about the mid-range and just think about what can I do to make it perceived to be a bit louder. Okay, so yeah, I think we're pretty much there, and that's without it being mastered. So all I've done is I've not even clipped the master really. What I could do, I could go into that. Just clip off anything, that hard clipping off the top. I'm just listening to different frequencies so that to see if that clipping's creating any distortion I don't really want. No, so you know, let's have a look what that's done. As far as the chain's concerned, you know, I might try something like a gold clip on this, but this is just a quick video. Just thought I'd jump on, say hello. If you're there, you're watching, please say hello in the chat. So I don't like to squeeze the hell out of things too much. Well, individually I will do, but on the master I don't really want to. Because this bass line has got so many dynamics, I'd go into each one of those notes or each one of them different sounds and try and get the best out of them using saturation, using clipping, using limiting. In this case, you know, taking out some of the frequencies and just always looking at the meters to get them loud. But any questions for me? Yeah, so I might just listen to another reference, go into it and go, okay, let's try and boost that mid-range a little bit more. Okay, so just thought I'd jump on and say hello. Normally I have a bit more interaction, but obviously not tonight because it's a bit of a last minute live. But thanks for watching, everyone. And hit me up if you like the track. Let me know what you think. And I will see you next Tuesday. Back to Tuesdays next week. And thanks for joining.